Great to have you with us tonight here on Arc Salt Lake. Brian Schnee. It is Thursday, March the 6th. Tonight, taking a look at what can be done to keep Utah roads safe after a deadly crash on I-80. That was in Tooele County. First, though, we're following the incoming storm throughout the Beehive State. For that, we need to talk to meteorologist Chase Thomason, kind enough to hop in with us here.
I'm here
on Arc Salt Lake at 7 o'clock. What are we seeing here?
Okay.
Box Elder County looks like?
Yes, this is just north of Tremonton. This is where that colder air mass is. We're waiting for that colder air to move in. It's just to our north, just to our west. That rain has already changed to snow. Kind of hard to tell, but you can see the blowing snow right here, and it is sticking to the roads. So we want you to be extra careful. It's not going to be the biggest valley snowmaker, but we're going to have a little bit of road slush overnight and into tomorrow morning. Right now, you can see that it is mainly rain from Ogden down to Provo. It was pretty widespread earlier today. Now it's not as impressive, but again, the main part of the storm is just to our west. This is where we have that heavy band of precipitation that's going to be rolling in. So if you're driving along I-80 out towards Tooele County, that's where that rain has already changed to snow. We have a couple light snow showers in Cache Valley, up Logan Canyon towards Bear Lake, but we have that moderate snow near Tremonton and up towards the Idaho border. But you can see that rain kind of change to snow. That colder air is beginning to move in. Right now it's rain in Weber County, but that could change within the next hour or two. And again, it's changing to snow out in Tooele, some light rain in Salt Lake and in Utah County. We also have a couple of these scattered snow showers across central and southern Utah, but the bulk of it is kind of winding down, especially for St. George, but more snow is possible for central Utah later tonight. Right now we are in the upper 30s and low 40s, well above freezing. So again, it's mainly rain. We'll have rain through about 8 or 9 o'clock. By about 10 o'clock, that rain begins to change to snow, and then after midnight, it is all snow as that temperature gets very close to freezing. So this will impact your Friday morning commute. I'll let you know who has the best chance to be waking up to a few inches of snow. You might need that snow shovel, and we'll talk more about that weekend forecast coming up in just a few more minutes.
Thank you, Chase. Catch up with you in just a few. We're continuing our coverage of this storm and going in depth with the Utah Department of Transportation. 2 News spoke with them as they prepare for this upcoming storm about what they do to keep the roads safe for you and your family and how you can do your part.
Well, this is another storm that's keeping in line with the trend this season where a degree or two could make a huge difference on what we see here on the valley floors. But tomorrow morning we're expecting to see at least some slushy roads, and so we're asking everybody to slow down, increase the distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you, so that if you need to brake, you can do so and not run into somebody's bumper. So give yourself that extra room, give yourself some extra time to get to work or wherever you're going, school tomorrow morning, because it is going to take a little bit longer.
And, you know, is there stuff happening tonight too as well? I mean, is it going to change from a rain to a something? Are there going to be crews out tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in our mountain areas, this is primarily, again, another mountain storm where we're anticipating, several feet in some areas in the higher elevations. So our mountain crews, they're out there, they'll be pre-treating the roads and just out there plowing as the snow continues to fall. But, over the next 24 hours or so, we could see significant snowfall in those higher elevations. So again, I mean, it's really a big difference between traveling down here in the valleys and traveling up in the canyon areas. If you have to go up to the canyons, make sure you have proper tread on your tire, make sure your windshield wipers are working, your vehicle's ready to navigate everything that Mother Nature has to throw at it.
Now, during storms like this, or even just rain, is there some problem areas along the stretch that you see a lot on the I-15 or corners of the valley here where you see a lot of issues?
I think tomorrow morning, if you're looking at any one focal point, Mountain, we've had some issues out there where, again, if it's 32 degrees or just right around that, you're going to see some slush ups that happen in very slick conditions. So a lot of people coming in from Utah County, slow it down. Even if you're driving on black pavement, it can be misleading. If it's raining, there could be standing water, you could hydroplane, or at the very least, very slick spots on the bridges. So slow it down and drive for those conditions.
And obviously, you kind of have that similar advice for drivers, but what is the most common cause of a lot of the crashes you see when weather like this rolls in?
Hands down, the most common cause for these crashes, people just traveling too fast for the conditions. They're going freeway speeds on a day that it makes no sense to go freeway speeds. So just really take the extra time, take those precautions, and get to where you're going safely.
And we've gotten off with a little milder winter, so have you saved on some resources, or what does it kind of look like for you guys at UDOT?
you look at it feels a lot different this year. It feels like we haven't had. We're down. We've spent about $2.5 million less than we did last year at this time, and that speaks to the amount of storms that we've still had up in the canyon areas. And even if it snows a little bit up there, our crews are out there. We've had some weekend storms, so our crews have been out on the weekends as well. But typically, I mean, we see a lot more snow than we do down here in the valleys this year, and it has been a much milder season than we're used to.
And then just, we love stats and news. Do you have stats on, number of equipment or stuff that's going to be out during some of these things, or just in general?
Across the state, we have 564 plows that are working to keep the roads safe for everyone. There's a good chance that you could see a couple hundred plows out there tomorrow, just given the fact that we're going to see snow here along the Wasatch Front, and then rain across the much of southern Utah as well. But no matter where you are, there's a good chance you're going to see weather tomorrow. So plan ahead for it. Check the forecast before you leave for work or school, and make sure you understand the conditions that you're going to be driving in.
It's Gleason season, talking with our Brian Will. The storm moving through the area causing problems on the roads. Multiple cars ended up off the road. This is just south of Sundance. Could get pretty steep up there. Several cars sliding into the river along State Route 92. And just after 1 o'clock this afternoon, snow and icy conditions caused these cars, or at least contributed to it, right? The weather was a factor here. One even upside down in the water. These shots are really interesting to look at because it makes you wonder if everyone was all right. Police say speeding likely a factor. Luckily, happy to tell you no serious injuries.
It is a weather-related accident, but it is because the drivers are going too fast. Once it ices up, once they see snow, drivers have to slow down. And so weather does play a factor, but had these cars been going slower, they wouldn't be in the river.
Good stuff there, Clay. Let's get you on Arc Salt Lake to talk more about this one if we need you here. Crews have been on scene testing the water because that river runs into a drinking water supply. Stay with 2 News for the latest on the winter storm. Get the latest updates by downloading the 2 News mobile app, also the 2 News weather app. And don't forget to tune in bright and early tomorrow morning, starting at 4:25. I encourage you to set the alarm for the latest on conditions for your morning commute. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, after a deadly crash on I-80 in Tooele County, now the question, what can be done to ensure road safety in this area? We'll look into that next. Covering Tooele County tonight, where growing pains and increased traffic on I-80 creating a deadly combination. We've done a lot of reports about this, but after a deadly crash last night that sent a vehicle fishtailing on wet roads, it raises the question, what can be done to try to make those roads safer? It takes all of us, really. Leslie Duarte has more.
It gets pretty bad if you're going anywhere, really.
Lifelong Tooele County resident Lauren Higgins says traffic on I-80 is getting worse.
It takes an hour and a half to get to Bountiful if you're trying to leave in the mornings.
Without traffic, a drive to Bountiful can take about 30 minutes. And as Tooele County grows, many are feeling the growing pains.
Coming home, it can take like 45 minutes to get back home once you get onto the around the mountain.
And when a crash happens on I-80, traffic can be delayed for hours, leaving drivers with only a few options: sit in traffic or go south and around the mountain.
Traffic, it gets pretty bad.
In 2022, UDOT started road improvements to I-80.
We have longer term plans to actually make SR 201 its own corridor separate from I-80. We have long-term plans to widen I-80 as well.
But UDOT says the environmental geography poses some challenges for road work in the area, noting the wetlands and mountains on either side.
The area between Salt Lake County and the Tooele Valley is really constrained. You have the mountains on the south side and you've got the Great Salt Lake on the north side. And so it can be a challenge.
Leslie Duarte reporting with KUTV 2 News.
You can find more of our coverage on this specific deadly crash and the push to make Utah roads safer is on our website right now, KUTV.com. Well, it's a hot issue nationally, and on the second to last day of the legislative session, Utah lawmakers dove into. The Senate passed a plan that could lead to more deportations of criminals, but opponents say it could also mean deporting people who are here illegally. In some ways, this remains a complicated issue. Focus of this is on illegal immigrants who commit serious crimes, including aggravated child abuse and sex abuse of a minor, but supporters acknowledge the bill that has now passed both houses here would apply to people who are out of the country or from out of the country, maybe with visas, and are legally living in Utah.
These individuals that are caught in this circumstance, maybe it is best in those circumstances for them to be deported. These are very serious crimes.
This bill only targets the lawful non-citizen residents, and that is fact. That is fact.
You know, it's interesting. We have gone in depth on this very topic just about a month ago with the head of the Sheriff's Association talking about the back and forth with ICE and the difficulties of the sheriff's offices here in Utah, and now there's a bill about it. Federal raids have rounded up criminals who are undocumented and deported them. Among other things, the Utah plan mandates sheriffs and the Department of Corrections notify Homeland Security before releasing someone who served jail time for a felony, Class A misdemeanor, and is in the country illegally. Historically, ICE and local law enforcement have had a relationship, and that fizzles depending on the administration. As the legislative session enters its final day, stay with 2 News. We'll be tracking the bills and the issues that impact you and your family. Whole lot of stuff going on the Hill here. So download our 2 News mobile app for breaking news alerts from the Utah State Capitol. 2 News has been following all the developments on ICE, specifically immigration enforcement operations in Utah. To catch up on our past reporting, hey, my name's on there. Head to our website, KUTV.com, as well as our KUTV YouTube page. Today, President Donald Trump says he's agreed to a temporary pause on tariffs for many goods from additional products from Canada that are covered by the U.S., Mexico, Canada trade agreement. So in addition to the break for car makers that we've previously told you about, the president is giving a temporary reprieve now on a wide range of other imports, including potash, which can be found here in Utah, by the way, the key ingredient used in fertilizer. But he says the biggest tariffs are still coming April 2nd when he initiates reciprocal tariffs.
So whatever they charge us, we're going to charge them, and there'll be no getting out of it.
Remember, President Trump said the other night he was not going to have these reciprocal tariffs on April Fool's Day. Trump is also pressing ahead with downsizing government. Cabinet secretaries met with Elon Musk today to talk about DOGE and their effort to cut costs and staff. CBS News has learned the administration is working on an executive order to begin the process of dismantling the Department of Education. While the impacted some today, others had fun in the powder on the slopes. I am envious. Video from the snow day at Snowbird. 11 inches of snow overnight, more on the way. More happening now, probably, with a storm on our doorstep. Some of us had to work today. That is how I always feel about the Powder Hounds midweek. I'm just kidding. Go have your fun. I'll get my goods at some point. Chase Thomason, also hard at work today, along with our 2 News weather team, because lots to talk about, finally.
That's right. 11 inches overnight at Snowbird. They're probably closer to now 20 or 21 because that's where Alta is right now. That's what they're reporting. But, I mean, 10 to 20 inches at those ski resorts. Great to see that. A lot of water in the valleys, anywhere between a quarter inch to about an inch. Spot on forecast. Love to see that. Layton and Orem over an inch of rain. And Riverton, 8200s in the rain gauge. And then it will be changing to snow later tonight. It's already changing across portions of our valleys. We have winter storm warnings, though, for the mountains of southern, central, and northern Utah. Winter weather advisories. This is new, folks, for the Tooele Valley. This is tonight and into tomorrow. And for some of our valleys from Nephi down to Fillmore. I still think there will be some accumulation, though, in Salt Lake and Utah County. It's the southern end of the Wasatch Front. This is the area that will likely get hit the hardest overnight and into tomorrow morning. So we have our area low pressure, that cold part of the storm. It's pushing in. Winds have been out of the south this whole time. Now they're changing direction, more out of the north, and then this band that's just to our west is going to be moving in, especially after 10 o'clock. And you'll see it right there with rain changing to snow, northern end of the Wasatch Front, Salt Lake Valley, and then by the overnight hours, this is 4 a.m., we have snow from Salt Lake down to about, I'd say, Fillmore. If you are north of Salt Lake City, there might be some light snow, but that's why you're not underneath that winter weather advisory. There might be a couple lingering flurries for your morning commute, but the best chance for that snow and maybe a little bit of road slush, so allow extra time or delay travel if you can, will be again south of Salt Lake City. Notice, though, by late morning, things begin to wind down and we'll likely see conditions really improve along the I-15 corridor by the afternoon. There will likely be some lingering showers in the mountains, and then skies clear by Friday night and just in time for the weekend. It's looking pretty nice. Generally, most of our valleys adjusting to an inch or two. However, if you're from Salt Lake down to Fillmore, we talked about that area, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 inches are possible, especially on grassy and elevated surfaces. If our winds are more out of the north, I think Tooele will do very well, maybe 2 to 5 inches with locally higher amounts. Most of our mountains and ski resorts picking up another, I'd say, 5 to 10 inches of snow on top of the 10 to 20 we've already had. So that's a good storm for us. All right, next weather maker, high pressure moves in Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures really increasing with that south wind by Sunday and Monday. So if you get any snow, it's likely going to be gone by the end of the weekend. Notice, though, it stays unsettled, folks. We have another storm. This one will be weak. That moves in on Tuesday with some spotty showers. And then we have a much larger storm getting close to us by Wednesday. Maybe a few spotty showers, but things really get going Thursday with rain changing to snow, even on the valley floor, with lingering snow showers into Friday. And this will be another statewide storm. This is great news. It's going to really help our snowpack, and I'm sure the ski resorts are loving it. 54 degrees tomorrow in St. George. We can't rule out an isolated shower, but you'll probably stay dry. Upper 60s by Sunday. How about 7 on Monday? Few showers possible. Tuesday, Wednesday, cooler into the 50s. Your best chance for rain will be Thursday with that rain. Salt Lake, it's a first alert weather day because that snow might impact your morning drive. Again, be careful out there. Temperatures in the morning near freezing, but by the afternoon we're at 40. This weekend, sunny, mid-50s by Sunday, 60 by Monday. And then look at next week, Brian. I mean, this is not a washout quite yet. It's the Thursday, Friday that I'm most excited about.
Could really use every last bit here.
That's right. It is March Madness right now.
Okay, March Madness, making up for lost time.
That's right.
This winter. Thank you, Chase. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, there's a new coach in town. You might know who it is. He's got quite the connection to the Utes, and he's taken over the helm. Next. Covering Utah County tonight, BYU showing off their new world-class pipe organ made up of more than 4,600 pipes, making it the third largest organ in Utah. Some pipes are 32 feet long, wide enough for a person to crawl through. Other pipes are the size of a pencil. Building the organ took 2.5 years. It's also the only organ in Utah with 2 consoles where organists can perform. Looking ahead to next week when Deer Valley Resort will release new season pass options for the upcoming winter season next year. Snow Basin put them out today, by the way. Pass options including the Deer Valley Unlimited Pass, a new Deer Valley Select Pass allowing first tracks experiences. They got a midweek pass, a new Deer Valley Limited Pass. More details on each pass can be found on the Deer Valley Season Pass webpage. University of Utah has a new men's basketball coach, according to ESPN and the university. They put this out today. They've hired Alex Jensen. Jensen played for the Utes back in the 90s when Rick Majerus was the head coach. You remember him? Jensen, currently an assistant coach with the Mavericks. That is in the association. That's professional basketball, by the way. Before that, he was an assistant coach with the Jazz for 10 seasons. Jensen replaces Craig Smith, who was fired last month. Happening now, tickets are on sale for the upcoming Salt Lake Bees season. Home opener is April 8th. This year, the Bees will play their games in their brand new ballpark in South Jordan. Place looks sick. The new stadium can hold up to 8,000 fans. There's seating available in premium club, grass, field level. Family packages for $99, including 4 berm tickets, parking, 4 hot dogs and sodas. Go get it while you can. Happening tomorrow, the Utah Jazz continuing their road trip with a game against the Toronto Raptors. The Jazz lost last night to the Wizards. Tomorrow's night's game tips off at 5:30. Guess where you can watch it? On your home for the Jazz. KJazz Channel 14. Pre-game coverage begins at 5 o'clock. You know what that means here on a Friday. We are on KMYU, so if you watch us here on KJazz, just do the little flipperoo or go to KUTV.com, Facebook, or YouTube. We try to be everywhere for you. I try to be everywhere for you. I'll be here tomorrow for you at 7.